Hey guys, welcome to today's episode of Today I Learned, and today I learned that the cute and cuddly platypus is venomous. So cute and cuddly is the kind of phrase that we would use for any animal that is cute, so beautiful, gorgeous, cute, it looks beautiful. And cuddly is any kind of animal that looks nice enough that you would want to cuddle it. So something like a shark or a snake is not cuddly. Something like a koala, a platypus, a kangaroo is very cuddly. And what does venomous mean? Venomous is when you have a poison that is injected. So a snake is venomous, a spider is venomous, and it turns out that male platypus are venomous. So the male platypus has spurs. Spurs are spikes on their hind legs that produce venom. And the spurs are about 1.5 centimeters long and found just above the heels on each hind leg of just the male platypus, so the females don't have them. The venom causes long-lasting, excruciating pain that can't be relieved by conventional painkillers. So you can't be given a painkiller if you get stabbed by a male platypus and injected with venom to relieve the pain, so it's going to hurt no matter what. And they use the spurs when they're fighting during the mating season, I think in winter, and they wrap their legs around other males that they're fighting with, and they viciously stab the male with the spurs in order to temporarily paralyze the male that they're fighting, and then they go off and mate with the female they're competing for. So to mate with means to reproduce with, to have sex with. So the anti-venom doesn't exist for the platypus venom either. So if you get stabbed, you can't go to the hospital and be given an anti-venom to fix it. You just have to wait for it to wear off. What are some other interesting facts about platypus? It's a monotreme, and a monotreme is a very ancient form of mammal that lays eggs instead of giving birth to live young. So it's a monotreme, it lays eggs. Platypus don't have nipples. Instead, they secrete milk from pores, and a pore is kind of just like a small area on your skin that secretes a liquid. So a pore that secretes milk on these guys, on their stomachs, and the milk accumulates in special grooves on their abdomen, on their stomach, that the platypus babies can lick the milk up from instead of sucking on nipples. I didn't know that. Although the platypus has a duck bill, a bill like a duck, the adults don't have teeth. However, the babies are actually born with teeth. So it's obviously an ancestral thing, and the teeth fall out soon after birth. Platypus are carnivorous. So they're carnivorous, they only eat animals, instead of being omnivorous, where you would eat plants and animals, or herbivorous, where you would just eat plants. Their diet includes freshwater crayfish, or yabbies, as we say in Australia, insect larvae, and worms. So any sort of little animals they can find in the water. Also, interestingly, and very unique in mammals, the platypus uses electrolocation. You've probably heard of echolocation, which is what bats use in order to find their prey and in order to move around their environment, where they use sound. Platypus use electrolocation, which is where they use electric fields to locate objects and to see when they're in water. So they actually swim with their eyes closed, and they use the bill, they shake it around from side to side around rocks looking for animals. So it's just like how sharks would actually wait to feel the electric signals based on their little sensors on their nose to find prey. It's the same with platypus. Whenever the animal moves around underwater, it's looking for other animals like yabbies and worms to contract their muscles, and then the platypus can feel that. Platypus don't have stomachs. This was another one I didn't know. They seem to have lost their stomachs in the distant past because their food doesn't require complex digestion. So they don't eat anything that requires the complex acids formed in the stomach to break it down. So instead, their esophagus just attaches directly to their intestine. And the last one is, what's the plural for platypus? This is a bit of a big argument. Some people say platypuses. I say platypus for plural. So to mean you've got one platypus, you've got two platypus. Some people argue that because the word platypus originates from the Greek language, the plural should be platypoides. So there are several ways of saying the plural for this animal, but they're all technically correct. So platypuses, platypus, or platypoides, or you can just use the slang term platies, as my friends use at work. So that's the episode of Today I Learned, guys. The cute and cuddly platypus is actually venomous. So watch out if you ever find one of these in the wild. Be careful not to pick it up. See you guys.